You just blew out the candles on your 50th birthday, and suddenly, the word retirement isn't just a vague concept in the distant future anymore. It's coming at you like a freight train. Most people react to this decade by panic saving, or worse, avoiding their account balances altogether. But a small group of smart 50-year-olds does the exact opposite. They make highly strategic shifts that most of us are never taught in school. If you're still managing your money at 50 the exact same way you did at 30, you might be quietly letting tens of thousands of dollars slip through your fingers every single year. Welcome back to the channel. Hitting 50 is a major life milestone, but in the world of personal finance, it's a complete game changer. The strategies that worked when you were 35 need a serious upgrade. You aren't just accumulating anymore, you're preparing for the landing. Being financially smart at 50 doesn't mean you need to understand complicated stock charts or hit a risky jackpot. It's about making intentional, strategic shifts that the crowd usually ignores. Now, I'm here as a friend talking about money over coffee, not your personal financial advisor. So please take this as general education to help you make more confident decisions. Today, we're unpacking 7 things smart 50-year-olds do with their money that most people never learn until it's way too late. Number 1. They immediately activate their catch-up contributions. Let's talk about one of the rare gifts the IRS actually gives you. The minute you turn 50, the IRS automatically changes the contribution limits for your retirement accounts. Suddenly, you're allowed to pump thousands of extra dollars every year into your 401k or IRA, compared to your 49-year-old coworkers. This is called a catch-up contribution. The problem is, most people either don't know about this, or they're too lazy to change their automated settings. The average person sets their 401k contribution at 6% or 8% when they get hired at 30, and just lets it run on autopilot for 2 decades. But smart 50-year-olds? The month of their birthday, they log into their HR portal and bump that percentage up to the new maximum. This doesn't just turbocharge their retirement fund in those final 10 to 15 working years, it also gives them a massive income tax deduction right now. Take a quick second and think about it. When was the last time you logged into your company portal to review or increase your retirement contribution rate? If it's been over a year, drop a 1 in the comments below. If you just increased it recently, type 2. A lot of us set it and forget it, and that is a massive financial leak. Number 2, they run a retirement fire drill. Most people calculate their retirement budget based on wild guesses. They open a spreadsheet, type in some estimated numbers for groceries, utilities, and taxes, and tell themselves, yeah, that should be enough. But smart people don't guess, they practice. I call this the retirement fire drill. A few years before actually retiring, they start living strictly on their projected retirement income. For example, if they expect to live on $5,000 a month from Social Security and 401k withdrawals, they force themselves to spend exactly $5,000 a month right now while they're still working. Every single dollar of leftover salary gets automatically swept into a savings account. I knew a couple, let's call them Mark and Sarah, who tried this. They were absolutely convinced their projected budget was plenty, but in the very first month of their fire drill, they realized they severely underestimated how much they spent on eating out and buying gifts for the grandkids. Reality hit them right in the face. But because they found this gap at 55 instead of 65, they had 10 years to adjust, cut back, and save more, rather than panicking when they could no longer earn a paycheck. Number 3. They shift their focus from net worth to cash flow. In our 30s and 40s, we are obsessed with net worth. We celebrate when our home value goes up, or when our total assets hit that $500,000 or $1 million mark. But wise 50-year-olds understand a harsh truth. You cannot take your home equity to the grocery store to buy food. Net worth is a fantastic concept on paper, but cash flow is what actually pays your bills in retirement. You could own an $800,000 house completely paid off, but if you only have $100,000 in your retirement account, your monthly cash flow is going to be miserable. Instead of patting themselves on the back for a big overall number, they start asking, how much safe monthly income can these assets actually generate? They study withdrawal strategies. They analyze the exact right age to claim Social Security to maximize their monthly check, and they begin restructuring their portfolio to produce sustainable passive income. Number 4. They decisively close the bank of mom and dad. This is probably the hardest one emotionally, but mathematically, it's the most critical. In your 50s, your kids might be in college or taking their first steps into the real world. Your parental instinct screams at you to protect them, to help pay their rent, buy their first car, or even fund a lavish wedding. But smart 50-year-olds understand an ultimate financial rule. Your kids can borrow money for college. They can drive an older car. They can have a smaller wedding. But you cannot borrow money to retire. There is no bank on earth that will give you a loan to survive at age 75. Continuing to drain your retirement funds to subsidize grown adults is financial self-sabotage. Wise parents sit down, have a loving but firm conversation with their kids, and slowly the financial faucet. They love their children, but they know that the greatest gift they can give them is not becoming a financial burden to them 20 years down the road. Here is a tough question for you. Are you currently paying any regular bills for your adult child over 20? Maybe a cell phone bill, car insurance, or rent. Don't be shy. Let me know in the comments just how emotionally difficult it is to even think about cutting off that support. Number 5. They turn their HSA into a stealth retirement weapon. The HSA, or Health Savings Account, is widely misunderstood as just a bucket of money to pay for a dental visit or some cold medicine. Most people put money in and spend it all in the same year. But financially literate 50-year-olds treat their HSA like a stealth retirement account with absolute superpowers. Why? Because the HSA is the only account in the US tax code that has a triple tax advantage. The money you contribute is tax-free. The money grows tax-free when invested, and when you pull it out for medical expenses, it is completely tax-free. So, what do the smart folks do? If they can afford it, they max out their HSA, invest that money in index funds, and they don't touch it. They pay for minor medical expenses out of their regular checking account instead. They let the HSA compound for over a decade. By the time they hit 65, when medical costs and Medicare premiums become their biggest burden, they have a massive tax-free war chest waiting strictly for healthcare. Number 6. They clean out their financial junk drawer. You know that feeling when you open a drawer in your kitchen and find random batteries, old keys, and loose rubber bands. The financial life of many 50-year-olds looks exactly like that. You've got an old 401k from a job you left in 1998, an IRA you opened it at a local bank in 2005, and a life insurance policy you bought from a friend a decade ago, but you have no idea where the paperwork is. This kind of fragmentation isn't just annoying, it's dangerous. When your money is scattered everywhere, you can't see the big picture. You might be paying expensive, hidden management fees across multiple platforms. And worst of all, your overall investments might be way too risky or way too conservative, without you even realizing it. Smart 50-year-olds spend a weekend cleaning up the mess. They roll over old 401ks into a single, consolidated IRA. They cancel useless subscriptions. They update their wills and beneficiaries. They simplify. Because when you're 65 or 70 years old, having to log into 6 different websites with 6 different passwords just to manage your money is an absolute nightmare. Let's do a quick mental check. How many different accounts is your retirement money scattered across right now? 1? 3? More than 5? Just tally it up in your head. If you have more than 3 old retirement accounts floating around, you are basically giving yourself an unpaid, stressful part-time job for your 60s. Number 7. They budget for the go-go years instead of a boring straight line. The biggest flaw in traditional retirement calculators is that they assume your spending will just be a flat, straight line. They calculate that you'll spend exactly $60,000 every single year, from age 65 all the way to 90. People who plan their retirement wisely know that real life doesn't work that way. Retirement generally happens in 3 phases: the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. In your go-go years, usually your 60s and early 70s, you have free time, you have your health, and you are going to want to travel, pursue hobbies, and remodel the house. Your spending in this decade might actually be bigger than when you were working. If you don't plan for this surge in spending, you'll either feel incredibly guilty every time you book a flight, or worse, you'll deprive yourself of joy during your healthiest years. Smart 50-year-olds don't just save to survive, they budget for the go-go years. They set up a dedicated travel pawn and experience fund right now. They give themselves permission to spend more in that first decade of retirement, knowing it's perfectly fine because they've factored it into the big picture, and their spending will naturally drop when they hit the slow-go phase. To sum it all up, hitting 50 is not the time to panic, it's the time to refine. The difference between someone who enters retirement with anxiety and someone who enters with absolute confidence usually isn't about who made the biggest salary. It's about who optimized what they had. Activating catch-up contributions, running a spending fire drill, pivoting to cash flow, cutting off adult kids, weaponizing your HSA, consolidating accounts, and planning for those vibrant go-go years. Those are the 7 moves that change everything. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Out of the 7 strategies we talked about today, which one gave you that aha moment? Was it the idea of consolidating your financial junk drawer, or maybe turning your HSA into a stealth account? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and tell me why. I always read them and learn so much from your real-life experiences. And if you found real, practical value in our conversation today, please do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep bringing you the best financial strategies so we can build a secure, wealthy retirement together. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I'll see you in the next video.